Good morning everyone. Hope you all are fine. As we all know that we have discussed functional components of computer in my last video, and we have discussed about the memory. So today's topic is memory again for class 9th. I have promised you that I will tell you the concept of memory in my next video. So here I am with the memory concept. You know that memory is the storage space where the data gets stored. Whatever you give input or whatever you save for the future use, then that is going to be stored in the memory. So memory is one of the most important thing of computer, or one of the most important part of computer, because all the data which we create or which we need in our future, that gets stored in the memory. Students, before moving ahead with the concept of memory, let's think about that why it is needed, the need of memory. Actually, a computer without a memory can be termed as a calculator only, because it will only take the input, it will process it, and it will provide the data, but it will not going to store your data for your future use. So if we add memory, then only we can use it for our future purposes. So memory is a very important part, and the concept how the data gets stored, how we can retrieve it, how we can store, why it have different types, it is very important. So let's start our today's video, the concept of memory. So memory unit is also known as the storage unit, and as it is written there, it is the storage space to save the data or instruction. Yes, memory is not only used to store your data, but it also used to save your instruction. But remember, our computer is a digital system and it only saves binary language. So data or your instruction all are converted into binary, and then that binary codes are saved in the memory. The data in binary form only, as I have already told you that all the data and instructions are converted into binary codes, and those codes will get saved in your memory. Here comes one more concept, that is the binary. Binary means 0 or 1, you all know. But why only 0 and 1? This is the concept which I am going to discuss in another upcoming video. So here are the types of memory. They are mainly of two types, internal memory and external memory. As we have already discussed in the last video, the memory is of two types, primary memory or secondary memory, internal and external. So internal memory is the one which resides in the CPU or the processor itself. And primary memory was having two parts, RAM and ROM, we have already discussed. The next one is external memory. External memory is also known as auxiliary memory or secondary storage, which is added externally to store the data permanently. Actually, internal memory is of two types, RAM and ROM, and external memory is again of two types, magnetic storage media and optical storage media. So here we are going to discuss internal memory first. Internal memory, the memory which resides in the CPU, is known as internal memory, or which you will get by the processor when you get your system done. Then you will get the internal memory already in itself. Then it has mainly three parts: RAM, ROM and cache. I hope you have already heard about RAM and ROM. Cache may be a new concept for you. So RAM is random access memory, ROM is read-only memory, and cache is another concept which I am going to discuss here. RAM is actually random access memory, as the name suggests, the memory which is accessed randomly or which is accessed every time when the system gets on or whenever you use your system for any purpose. So RAM is the first point of contact to the user. The user, whenever gives the data as an input to the system, then it goes to RAM first. So RAM is the one which is accessed by the user, and it is readable and writable also. When we store the data in our memory, then it is known as a write function, and when we access that data again, then it is known as a read function. So RAM allows both read and write, both. That means the user can store the data, means enter the data, or the user can retrieve that data again. But the ROM, read-only memory, as the name suggests, it is only for the reading purpose. Means the data which is already stored in the ROM can be accessed only. We cannot remove it. We cannot edit that data. Means user do not have any access to the ROM. ROM is only for the system purpose, mainly used for booting process or to store the BIOS system or to store your language processors. Means only for your system purpose. So RAM is again of two types, SRAM and DRAM. Static RAM and dynamic RAM. Static random access memory and DRAM stands for dynamic random access memory. Actually, static RAM is more expensive than the dynamic RAM because dynamic RAM needs to be refreshed again and again, and actually RAM itself a temporary memory, volatile memory which you can say. RAM is the memory which only contains the data till the power is on. As soon as the power goes off, your data will be lost. You must be agree with my point that whenever you use your system in the lab, the teacher or the instructor, whoever is there, keeps saying that please save your data, please save your data, press Ctrl+S again and again. Why? Because when you work on that data, that resides in RAM only, and as the power goes off, that data might get lost. So if you want that data for the permanent purpose to be stored, so you need to save that data, and that saved data will goes to secondary memory. So to get your data again back, you need to save it in the secondary memory, because primary memory cannot retain that data for a long time. It will retain your data only till your power is on. So DRAM needs to be refreshed again and again, and SRAM is more effective. It do not need it to be refreshed. This is ROM, read-only memory. This is the primary memory which is only meant for the system uses, because all the data which is stored in the ROM, it is only for the system purpose, like BIOS, basic input output system. The instruction or the program which is required for the booting process is known as BIOS. Booting is the process when your system gets on. We will discuss the booting process in next video. So the booting process, all the instruction which is required for booting process resides in ROM. ROM is of three types: PROM, EPROM, EEPROM. PROM means programmable read-only memory. EPROM means erasable programmable read-only memory. EEPROM is electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. Actually, ROM is a non-volatile memory. As the RAM was volatile memory, means it was temporary. The data stored in RAM resides only till the power is on of your system. But ROM retains the data for the permanent purposes. It do not impact whether the power is on or off. The data stored in ROM will always reside in ROM. So the first one is PROM. PROM was the memory which was programmed. Actually, the PROM is a kind of memory which was getting programmed by the manufacturer, but there was a disadvantage, or there was a demerit of PROM, that user cannot, or the manufacturer cannot remove those instruction or cannot reprogram that memory. So here comes the next one. EPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory, means here the data can be erased. Whatever instruction is stored by the manufacturer can be erased later and can be reprogrammed again. The next one is electrically erasable programmable memory. This memory was sufficient to be erased or to be reprogrammed by the methods of electrical laser lights. I hope you got the point of RAM and ROM. Let's discuss again as the differences. RAM and ROM. The first point is the full forms. RAM stands for random access memory, whereas ROM stands for read-only memory. RAM allows to read and write the data, as I have told you that it allows both the functions, read function and write function. And ROM, if the data can be only accessed or read, it allows only read function. The third point is it is volatile memory. Volatile means the temporary memory. It will store the data till the power is on. And ROM is non-volatile memory. The next point is it is used by the user to store the currently used data. RAM is the memory which stores the data which is currently going to be used. As you say that you have created a file and you saved it, and next time you are going to be access it again. So when you click on that file or you open that file came from secondary memory to the RAM when you are using it. So it contains only the currently used data. As soon as you press Ctrl+S or you save that data, that file again get back to secondary memory. So ROM, it is used for booting process or system use. It only contains the data which is required for the system purposes. RAM is temporary storage and ROM is permanent storage. Here are the types of RAM: SRAM, static random access memory; DRAM, dynamic random access memory. And types of ROM are PROM, programmable read-only memory; erasable programmable read-only memory; or electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. This is very important concept. Students, you can take screenshot of this screen and you can save it. So let's move to the next concept, that is cache memory. The concept of cache is related to very on your day-to-day life. Let's understand it with a simple example. Suppose we are organizing a function in your school and some of the students of your class have taken part in many functions. So we are calling their name again and again. There is a room, you can say green room, where all the students who have taken part in the function are sitting. And there is a teacher too, but the students who have taken part in many functions are sitting in the last row. But whenever the name is called, they came from the last row and reached the stage, and they took so much time in this. If your teacher let them sit in the front row only, then they will reach the stage faster than the previous scenario. So this is the concept, means the data or the students, if you can say the students who are frequently called, they are sitting in a different space, they are sitting in a front row so that they reach the stage faster. So this is the simple concept. The data which is frequently used, the user uses again and again which data, that data is stored in a separate space so that the processor use it faster, so that the speed of processor gets increased and gets improved. So the cache memory is the concept or is the memory which improves the speed of your processor. So here it is written, it is used to improve the speed of processor. It can either be inserted on motherboard or a part of your CPU. It stores the frequently used data. It only stores the frequently used data. It do not store all your data. It only stores the frequently used data the user are using again and again. So that data is going to be stored in the cache so that the speed of your processor gets increased. So this is the cache memory. Now let's move to the another one, that is external memory. External memory is the one which is added externally. External memory is the one which stores the data permanently, because as you have studied that there was the internal memory which is of two types, RAM and ROM, and RAM was having again several types, ROM was having again several types. So here comes a question, when we are already having these types of memory which is already inbuilt in your system, we don't need to add them externally. So why we need a separate memory? Why we need external memory which we need to buy externally or which we need to add externally? What is the need of external memory? So the answer is that there are only two types of primary memory. First one is RAM and the second one is ROM. ROM is only read-only because it operates the read function only. You cannot store your data in the ROM, so it is no use of you. And the RAM is the temporary memory. It cannot store the data for a long time. So RAM and ROM both are of no use if we talk about for the permanent storage. So we need a separate space, we need a separate kind of memory where we can store our data permanently. So external memory or the secondary storage is the answer where you can store your data permanently. So that's why we need external memory. External memory is of two types, magnetic storage media and optical storage media. As the name suggests, magnetic storage media means those storage media which uses electromagnetic technique to store your data or to retrieve your data or to access your data. Optical storage media is the one which use optical or your optics technique or the laser techniques to store or access your data. The magnetic storage media is of having two examples, floppy disk or hard disk drive. Floppy disks are now not in use nowadays. Hard disk drive is the one which we use in our daily life. Hard disk is already stored in your CPU and you can add externally also. Hard disk can store lot more amount of data but using electromagnetic technique. Optical storage media is having different example like CD, compact disc, DVD, digital versatile disc and flash drive. Flash drives can be of several types like your pen drives, like your memory chips which you use to insert in your mobile. So those all are examples of flash drive. CD and DVD actually the optical storage media. Optical storage media, like they are using laser beams to store your data and to retrieve the data, and these are more portable. You can take from one place to another them easily instead of hard disk, but nowadays hard disk can also be portable. So the next is differences. Magnetic storage media and optical storage media. It uses electromagnetic technique to read or write the data. Instead of optical, it uses light to read or write the data. Magnetic storage media is faster, provides faster read and write speed, and optical storage media is somewhat slower than the magnetic storage media. And here comes the example of magnetic, floppy disk and hard disk drive, and optical storage media, CD, DVD and flash drives. So this is the concept of external memory. So this was the whole concept of memory. Memory, if we revise it again, memory is of two types, external and internal. Internal is again of two types, RAM and ROM, and external is again of two types, magnetic storage media and external storage media, and all those parts are having several examples and several types. So memory is one of the most important topic for class 9 students. Talk about the questions. I have also prepared several questions for you. These are the 1 mark questions including fill-ups and full forms and definitions. First one is dash is volatile memory, means you need to give the example of volatile memory. Second is dash memory will hold the data permanently. Third is you have to write full forms of each. I have already given in my video all the full forms of these terms. The next one is define cache memory. You need to give definition only. Now 2 marks question. Differentiate between RAM and ROM, differentiate between internal and external memory, differentiate between optical and magnetic storage media. What do you understand by memory? Explain its types. And what do you understand by external memory? Explain its type. Take the screenshot of this via a screen and solve these questions by your own. I hope you get my point and you get the knowledge of memory now. And before going, I would like to say please subscribe our channel. Please subscribe the RGA channel, and if you have not subscribed yet. And also don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications. Stay home, be safe. Thank you.